The network falls silent. Commander Zeleth Varn's scaled hands moved across the holographic display with practiced precision. The Saurian officer had spent 15 years aboard Galactic Surveillance Station Omega-7, watching over the dark regions of space where few dared to venture. His yellow eyes, evolved for detecting the slightest movement, noticed the anomaly immediately. The first sensor went dark at exactly 9:47 hours, Galactic Standard Time. Station Omega-7 orbited the gas giant Xerion Prime, positioned at the edge of civilized space, where three major star systems converge. It was the perfect location for monitoring the galaxy's most dangerous frontier regions. Dr. Moonwhisper, Zeleth called across the command center, his voice carrying the distinctive hiss that marked his reptilian heritage. "We have a problem with sensor array Delta 9. Dr. Kaya Moonwhisper glided over from her research station, her luminescent form leaving a faint trail of silver light. The luminary were beings of pure energy housed in crystalline bodies, and Kaya was among the brightest scientific minds in the galaxy. Her specialty was pattern recognition, a skill that had saved countless lives by predicting cosmic phenomena. "What kind of problem?" she asked, her voice like wind chimes in a gentle breeze. Before Zeleth could answer, another alarm chimed. Then another. Within minutes, 17 different sensor arrays across 3 star systems had gone completely silent. Not damage, not malfunctioning. Simply gone, as if they had never existed. Technician Brax Ironforge stomped over from the engineering bay, his heavy boots echoing through the station. The stocky dwarf wiped grease from his weathered hands and squinted at the displays. "That's impossible," he grunted. "Those sensors are quantum entangled with our systems. They can't just disappear without a trace." Kaya's crystalline form pulsed with deep blue light as she processed the data. "Commander, this isn't random equipment failure. Look at the pattern." She projected a 3-dimensional star map into the center of the command room. Each dead sensor appeared as a red dot, and together they formed a perfect mathematical sequence. "By the ancient fires," Zeleth whispered, his tail twitching with anxiety. The pattern pointed directly toward the Forbidden Nebula, a region of space that every civilization avoided. Old stories spoke of ships that entered and were never seen again, of strange signals that drove crews insane, of things that existed beyond normal understanding. Captain Elena Rodriguez had been quietly observing from her station near the communications array. As the human liaison officer aboard Omega-7, she often felt like an outsider among the various alien species that made up the Galactic Federation. Humans were relative newcomers to the cosmic community, having joined only after their home planet Earth had been devastated by resource wars and climate collapse centuries ago. "There's something else," Elena said, stepping forward. Her dark hair was pulled back in a practical ponytail, and her brown eyes showed the determination that humans were known for throughout the galaxy. Before each sensor went dark, it transmitted a final signal. Kaya's form brightened with interest. "What kind of signal?" Elena pulled up the communication logs on her tablet. "It's encoded in an ancient human language, Old Terran. Most of our people have forgotten it exists. The message is the same from every sensor. Watchers stir. Protocol 7 activated. The Guardians remember." The command center fell silent except for the usual hum of life support systems. Old Terran was a dead language, used by humans before their planet died, and they scattered across the stars as refugees. No one had spoken it for over 300 years. "What does it mean?" Brax asked, nervously adjusting his tool belt. Elena shook her head. "I don't know, but I think we need to find out. Fast." Within hours, a joint task force had assembled at the edge of the Forbidden Nebula. The FSS Unity, Elena's exploration vessel, flew alongside ships from 5 different civilizations. The Saurian cruiser scaled Lightning, with Commander Zeleth aboard, maintained formation with the luminary research ship Bright Hope, where Dr. Moonwhisper worked frantically to understand the mysterious signals. The dwarven engineering vessel Iron Hammer carried Brax and his team of technical specialists, while representatives from the Draconian Empire and the Orcish battle clans brought their own ships and expertise. It was the largest gathering of different species that Alina had ever seen working together. As they approached the nebula's outer edge, their sensors began picking up massive energy readings from within the swirling cosmic clouds. Whatever was inside had been dormant for centuries, but it was awakening now. Captain Rodriguez, came the voice of Ambassador Thek Goldscale over the communication system. The Draconian diplomat ship gleamed like polished gold in the starlight. My long-range sensors detect artificial structures within the nebula. They're enormous, larger than any space stations in our databases. General Kor Battlehammer's gravelly voice cut through from the Orcish battleship. Whatever's in there better be friendly, or we'll blast it back to the void where it came from. Alina felt a chill run down her spine. Something about this situation felt familiar, like a half-remembered dream. All ships maintain defensive positions, but do not power weapons unless directly threatened. As if responding to her words, the nebula began to change. The swirling gases parted like curtains being drawn back, revealing what lay hidden within. Hundreds of ships floated in perfect formation, their dark hulls reflecting no light. They were clearly human in design, but unlike any vessels in the current Federation database. These ships were ancient, their hulls marked with symbols that predated any known human writing system. They were sleek and purposeful, built for long voyages through the darkness between stars. Most unsettling of all, they showed no signs of age or decay despite obviously being centuries old. "Incoming transmission," reported Alina's communications officer, Lieutenant James Park. "It's on an old Terran frequency, but the signal is incredibly strong." "Put it through," Alina ordered, her heart racing. The voice that filled the bridge was unmistakably human, but spoke with an accent Alina had never heard before. It carried the weight of centuries and the authority of someone who had seen the rise and fall of civilizations. "Federation vessels, this is Admiral Sarah Chen-Volkov of the Guardian Fleet Eternal Watch. We have monitored your approach and received the activation protocols. State your purpose in this region." Alina stepped forward, though she knew the Admiral couldn't see her. "Admiral, this is Captain Alina Rodriguez of the FSS Unity. We're investigating the failure of sensor networks across 3 systems. Are you responsible for the blackouts?" There was a long pause before the Admiral responded. "Captain Rodriguez, we need to meet in person. What you call sensor failures were deliberate actions taken to prevent a catastrophe. The galaxy is in more danger than your governments realize." One of the ancient ships detached from the formation and approached the Unity. It was massive, easily 3 times the size of Alina's vessel, but moved with surprising grace. As it drew closer, Alina could see that its hull was covered with intricate designs that seemed to shift and change in the light. "Permission to come aboard, Captain." Admiral Chen-Volkov's voice carried a note of urgency. "Time is running short, and there are things you need to understand about humanity's true role in this galaxy." Alina looked around at her mixed crew. Humans who had grown up believing their species were refugees, survivors of a dead world who had been given shelter by more advanced civilizations. But the ships floating before them suggested a very different story. "Permission granted, Admiral. Dock with Bay 2. As Alina prepared to meet this mysterious figure from humanity's hidden past, alarms began sounding throughout the fleet. Long-range sensors were detecting something massive approaching from beyond the galactic rim, something that was consuming the very fabric of space itself as it traveled. The real threat was just beginning to show itself, and Alina realized that everything her people had been told about their history might have been a carefully constructed lie designed to hide humanity's greatest secret. Whatever the truth was, she was about to discover that humans had never been the helpless refugees they pretended to be. They had been something far more important and far more dangerous. Guardians of the Dark. Admiral Sarah Chen-Volkov stepped aboard the FSS Unity with the bearing of someone who had commanded fleets across the void for decades. She was tall and lean, her silver hair pulled back in a military knot, her uniform bearing insignia that Alina didn't recognize. But what struck Elena most were the Admiral's eyes. They held depths of knowledge and sorrow that came from keeping impossible secrets. "Captain Rodriguez," the Admiral said, extending her hand. "It's good to finally meet one of our scattered cousins face to face." Elena shook the offered hand, noting the calluses that spoke of years working with technology. "Admiral, I think it's time you explained what's really going on. Our governments are panicking, and we have reports of something massive approaching from beyond the galaxy." Admiral Chen-Volkov nodded grimly. "Yes, the Void Devourers. We've been watching them for 3 centuries, ever since our deep space monitors detected their approach. They consume reality itself, leaving nothing but empty space where entire star systems once existed." They walked toward the Unity's conference room, where representatives from the other ships were gathering via hologram. Commander Zeleth's scaled form materialized first, followed by Dr. Moonwhisper's glowing presence, Brax Ironforge's stocky figure, Ambassador Goldscale's regal bearing, and General Battlehammer's intimidating bulk. 300 years. Dr. Moonwhisper's voice chimed with confusion. But Earth was destroyed by ecological collapse. Humanity scattered as refugees. Earth was never destroyed. Admiral Chen-Volkov interrupted quietly. "That story was created to hide the truth. When we detected the Void Devourer's approach, humanity made a choice. We couldn't evacuate an entire planet, but we could create a deception." Elena felt the world shifting beneath her feet. What kind of deception? The Admiral activated a holographic display showing Earth as it really was, green and blue and very much alive. "We staged our own extinction, created fake disasters, scattered volunteer populations across the galaxy as refugees, and told everyone that Earth was uninhabitable. Meanwhile, the real human government went underground, literally." The display shifted to show massive underground cities spanning entire continents, connected by tunnel networks that reached to the planet's core. Orbital platforms disguised as debris rings, hidden shipyards in the asteroid belts, an entire civilization concealed from galactic view. "For 3 centuries, we've been preparing," the Admiral continued, "building ships, training crews, developing weapons and defenses, all while maintaining the illusion that humanity was just another minor species struggling to survive." General Battlehammer leaned forward, his tusks gleaming. "You're saying humans have been lying to the entire galaxy for 300 years. "We've been protecting the galaxy," Admiral Chen-Volkov corrected firmly. "The Void Devourers don't just destroy physical matter. They unravel the fundamental forces that hold reality together. Every star system they consume makes them stronger, and there's no known way to stop them." Commander Zeleth's tail twitched nervously. Except humanity discovered something during our early space exploration. We found ruins on a dead world in the Centauri system, remains of a civilization that had fought the Void Devourers millions of years ago. They left behind blueprints, weapon designs, and a warning. The holographic display shifted again, showing ancient alien structures and technology that seemed to bend light around itself. Elena gasped as she recognized some of the symbols. They matched the markings on the human guardian ships. The ancients called themselves the Builders. Admiral Chen-Volkov explained. They created a network of quantum anchors throughout the galaxy, devices that strengthen the fabric of space-time itself. But the network was never completed. They ran out of time, and humanity has been finishing their work. Elena realized, pieces of the puzzle clicking together in her mind. Exactly. Every refugee settlement we established was built around a quantum anchor point. Every human colony serves a dual purpose, a normal civilian population and a hidden defensive installation. We've been quietly completing a galaxy-spanning defense network while everyone believed we were just trying to survive. Brax Ironforge was studying the technical schematics with professional interest. Brilliant engineering. But why the secrecy? Why not ask for help? Dr. Moonwhisper answered before the Admiral could respond. Because most civilizations would have panicked. Wars would have broken out over control of the anchor points. the network would never have been completed. And Admiral Chen Volkov added, because the Void Devourers can sense organized resistance. They adapt their approach based on what they encounter. By appearing weak and scattered, humanity avoided drawing their direct attention until we were ready. Ambassador Golden Scales rippled with emotion. So when you destroyed our sensor networks, we detected their scouts, the Admiral said grimly. The first wave of entities they send ahead to study their targets. Our sensors would have revealed the quantum anchor network to them. We had to choose between maintaining the secret and protecting the galaxy. Elena felt a mixture of pride and horror at what her species had done. How long until they arrive? 6 months, maybe 7. But now that their scouts have been detected and eliminated, they know we're here. They'll come faster and hit harder than originally planned. General Battlehammer slammed his fist on the table. Then we fight. The combined fleets of 5 civilizations won't be enough. Admiral Chen Volkov cut him off. Not with conventional weapons, but the completed quantum anchor network will create a barrier that even the Void Devourers can't cross. The problem is, we need every species to activate their local anchors simultaneously. That requires trust, cooperation, and perfect timing. Elena looked around at the assembled representatives, species that had been rivals or strangers just hours ago, now facing a threat that could end existence itself. What do you need from us? Everything, the Admiral said simply. Every ship, every technology, every mind working together. The anchors need to be powered by the combined will and determination of every sapient being in the galaxy. It's not just about technology. It's about proving that life, consciousness, and hope are stronger than the void. Over the following weeks, Elena watched in amazement as the greatest mobilization in galactic history took place. Human guardian fleets emerged from their hiding places throughout the galaxy, revealing just how extensive their secret preparations had been. Hidden shipyards began producing vessels at an incredible rate, while the various alien civilizations contributed their own unique technologies and skills. The Saurians provided advanced sensor networks and communication systems. The Luminary offered their mastery of energy manipulation and quantum physics. The Dwarves contributed their unmatched engineering expertise and industrial capacity. The Draconians shared their diplomatic skills and strategic planning abilities. The Orcs brought their warrior spirit and tactical knowledge. But most importantly, they all brought their determination to survive, to protect their homes and their futures. Elena found herself commanding a mixed fleet of over 200 ships, with crew members from a dozen different species working side by side. It was chaotic at first, with language barriers and cultural misunderstandings creating constant challenges. But gradually, they began to function as a single organism, united by their shared purpose. On the day the Void Devourers finally arrived at the Galactic Rim, Elena stood on the bridge of the Unity and watched as space itself began to unravel. Stars went dark not by being destroyed, but by ceasing to exist entirely. The very concept of light and matter was being erased from reality. All stations report ready. Admiral Chen Volkov's voice came through the communication system. Quantum anchors are charged and synchronized. Remember, everyone, this isn't just about survival. This is about proving that consciousness, cooperation, and hope can triumph over entropy itself. Elena felt the determination of every being in the galaxy focused on a single moment, a single choice to stand against the darkness. The quantum anchor network activated with a flash of pure white light that seemed to emanate from every star, every planet, every ship in the galaxy. The Void Devourers struck the barrier and stopped. For the first time in eons, their advance was halted. They pushed against the quantum field with all their might, but it held firm, powered by the combined will of trillions of conscious minds. As Elena watched the cosmic predators retreat back into the void between galaxies, she realized that humanity's greatest gift hadn't been their technology or their secrets. It had been their ability to bring others together, to inspire cooperation where there had been suspicion, to create unity from diversity. The galaxy was safe, not because humanity had been strong enough to save it alone, but because they had been wise enough to help everyone save themselves together. And in the depths of space, the quantum anchor network continued to hum with the power of countless civilizations working as one, a permanent testament to what could be achieved when different species chose hope over fear, cooperation over conflict, and light over the endless dark.